Hi guys, Ray here, City Fan TV. I'm joined by Bernard Deneen from the Citizen channel. It's chilly. It's chilly in Manchester. It's international break. Bernard's been working. I'm working. It's a bit boring, but we're here to talk about the thing we love. Football.
Chelsea.
Oh, behave yourself. Football. And we've got a cracking one for you today. I'm going to pick Bernard's brain here. Won't take long, but we're going to pick his brain. We're going to look at the team, Pep's team, from the Formidables and the Centurion season, that kind of combination, and going to ask how they would have fared against the Treble Winners from last season. Now,
I've even got a result for you guys. The computer, I put it into the computer. I even come out with the result.
You put it into the IBM computer and you come out with the result. Look, that Centurion side, Formidable side, that's it. Look at the Centurions, broke so many records, obviously. 100 points. No one's ever done it before. And ever since. Scoring a ton of goals. All those consecutive wins. All the wins at home. All the wins away. Record upon record upon record. It was an incredible season. And then we came back the next season and we won all the domestic trophies, everything. It's a shame we didn't win the Champions League because everybody else could have packed up and gone home if we'd won the Champions League as well that season. But
was it more or less the same team, mate? Or was there any differences? I'm just having a scan through. I can't really see any big differences between the two.
It would have been a similar team. Off the top of my head, there would have been one or two additions. I think we'd got Laporte in the middle of the Centurion season. So I'm just trying to think of who else we bought that. So it was a 2018-19 season that we went out. Excuse me. Got a bit of the old. Still got that lurgy. So we went out and bought a few players. But as I said, Laporte come in midway through that Centurion season. We still had people like Bravo knocking about. We had Danilo knocking about. Vinny was still there. We had people. I think we had Mangala on the books, but we let him. I don't think he played for us that season. Mendy was knocking about 10 games.
Zinchenko added to the quad squad.
I'm just trying to think. I can't honestly off the right.
I think Zinchenko had 12 games by the looks of it.
The main
league games and 12.
There was one main addition, and that was Mahrez. That was the main addition. Everybody else was really bit part players.
He didn't play that often, did he? He only 13 league starts, so 14 league starts.
27 games, and right at the end, Pep did play him against Brighton last game of the season. Yeah. But everybody else that we bought, honestly, if I read the names off, even you might not remember them. We had Adrian Banabi, Ben Knight, Claudio Gomez, Philippe Sondler, Daniel Arzani, Ko Ikatura, Ante Palaversa, and Gavin Bazunu. Most of them didn't even feature for City. We lost a few players, but again, we're not losing people that you think, we lost a lot actually, but you're not thinking we lost players that were really, really important to us. We lost Angelino, Yaya Toure. Trying to think of any big ones, and I can't really come up. I think those were the two that you say, obviously Joseph Hart, but he left halfway after a month in the previous season. So, but no one really important. I think Yaya was the one, but he was already past it by then. Anyway. So it was a very, very, very similar team. As I said, the main addition was the Riyad Mahrez, and the main departure was Yaya Toure. So, two cracking teams for the Formidables and Centurions. Another cracking team, the Treble Winners, obviously smashing loads more records. We did the treble almost the best way possible, beating your rivals, Man United, in the FA Cup final. That made it special. Looking it out in the Champions League final after being so dominant, that was nice on reflection, and obviously winning the league on the last day of the season again. So another tantalizing and tingling game, but we prevailed and we won it again. So Bernard, how do you want to compare the two sides? I mean, have you got a list of the players that were in both teams? I mean, the formidable side, Centurion side.
The key players, I've got the somewhere here of that did both. That were around for both. If I can find it now, I'll just scroll through it. Yeah, Centurions and Quads versus Treble Winners. The guys who I've got in both teams: Edison, Walker, KDB, Gundo, and Bernardo.
It's not a lot, but
might be odd ones, but they're the main characters, shall we say?
What a five-a-side team that would be! Wow. But who would you have in nets? Would you have Walker in nets and that's the question. Okay.
I'll give you my Centurions quadruple formation, 4-3-3 if you want. I'll go with that one. So obviously Edison's a mainstay. I think we're stuck with that, aren't we? Then obviously for Centurions, it's an interesting one because that's what I was asking about Zinchenko, because we're struggling at left back. So I put Walker, Company, Otamendi, and Zinchenko, and obviously a stroke Delph and Mendy. But I mean, I think left back's a dodgy position anyway.
Well, Delph was first choice if he wasn't, but he only played, I think, 11 games that season. So Delph would have been first choice.
So I don't know. I would probably go for Delph. But I mean, Zinchenko came in the second into the quadruple team, didn't he? So would you prefer Zinchenko to Delph? I personally would.
Yeah, I'll go along with that. I won't argue. Yeah.
I don't think there's anyone major. I mean, Company and Otamendi has to be, surely. I mean, Laporte came into it, but far too late for that.
No, I'm good with that. And then I guess Fernandinho in front of them.
Werner, KDB, and of course we've done another vlog, didn't we? Of course we've got the magical David Silva in there.
Yeah, up front
I put Sane, which I didn't particularly do last time, did we? When we looked at the other thing we were doing, and I put Sterling and I put Aguero.
Yeah, can't argue with that. And the Treble Winners, well, we know who they were. I think our memories don't really need to be jogged.
We have a sub actually for the what's-its as well, which was Gundo, because he came into that as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Treble Winners. Here we go. Here's the Treble Winners. Right, I've got Walker, Akanji, Diaz, and Aki at the back. Rodri, KDB, and Gundo in the middle.
Yeah.
And Bernardo, Foden, and Haaland up front.
Yeah.
Sub Alvarez.
Yeah. What Jack?
No. No Jack.
We want to win the game, so no Jack. We want
no Mahrez. I'm sorry about that. He's struggled, hasn't
he? Yeah. Because Bernardo for the last 3-4 months of the season, it was Bernardo first choice on the right. Okay, where do you see? I mean, it's going to be all awkward because KDB will be playing against KDB. But where do you see the key battles then on those two sides?
I think defensively. I mean, we're not proving it this year, but I think defensively, the treble team was better. I think defensively, the Walker, the Kanji, Diaz, and Aki. Even though we've got Company and Otamendi, who's pulling up trees. He scored again last night, didn't he? As we're recording this for Argentina against Brazil. What a player Otamendi is! We never give him that. We did give him respect, but very odd. So I think if you look at the treble defence, Walker, Akanji, Diaz, and Aki. I mean, that would have a hell of a Sane, Sterling, Aguero against him. That would have been a cracking battle. I think. Yeah, that team.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, whichever team won against each other is always going to be
Werner against Rodri, isn't it? What a hell of a battle that is. How can you compare and say who's going to get the better of that?
Would anybody get sent off?
Probably. Absolutely. I mean, I think Bernardo, Foden, and Haaland might have a bit of fun against Walker, Company, Otamendi, and Zinchenko or Delph or whatever. I think that'll be a fun thing as well.
I mean, obviously, I think Company against Haaland would be a particularly good watch, but I think Company would rip. Sorry, I think Haaland would rip Otamendi. If he could hang off the back of Otamendi, he's got the height, he's got the power, he's got the pace, he's got the intelligence. You know, Company would struggle against Haaland. Company would have to be right at the top of his game, on his toes throughout the 90 minutes.
And Sane and Aguero against that the Treble Winners defence would be ripping them apart, won't they? Down the wings and everywhere else.
It's really difficult because
even Walker, all right, but he struggled the other, that one where he was running around like a scolded cat against Chelsea. Wasn't against Sterling then.
The interesting thing is each attack would terrorise the other's defence. Yeah. Absolutely terrorise them. Midfield is much. Can I say this? Much of a muchness.
Yeah,
I think because
the difference in midfield is Rodri against Werner. So
yeah, I think KDB cancels KDB out. I think
we got obviously Gundo's in the Treble Winners as opposed to David Silva.
I think they cancel each other out simply because I think we prefer David Silva overall to Gundogan 6 years ago, but I think Gundogan on the top of his game last season is up there. So I think they cancel the midfields. I think almost cancel each other out. It's realistically how will the attacks cope with the defense and vice versa. Now you said you come up with a result. I'm interested to see what that result is, mate.
Yeah, I've just preferred.
Drum roll.
I've just preferred the treble defence, even though it's going to be up against it. But for midfield, I've just edged it for the old Centurions quadruples for midfield and attack. So they're going to win by the odd goal. I'd like a draw, which I think would be a fair result. But I'm going to give it the Centurion quadruples by the odd goal in 7. 4-3.
I'm not going to go that high. I'm going to say 2-1 to the Centurions quads. Simply because over the course of it's a league game. It's not in a Champions League or FA Cup. It's a league game. Over the course of those seasons, the Centurions got 100 points. They didn't let too many goals in. They got 100 points. The Formidables got 98 points. Yeah. So to me, that shows a slightly higher level of consistency than the team last year who got 89. Now, I think we both agree, and we said this, if City had something resting on those last 2 games, I think we win them. We're in such a rich vein of form. We should really have finished on 94 points. But even so, that Centurion team would have got 6 more points. And you might say it's only 6 more points. But 6 points is a lot over the 38 games. It's a lot at the top end of the season. And then 98 points for the Formidables as well. So that's my reasoning overall to give the win to the Formidables / Centurions. And 2-1 just reminds me of that game against Liverpool at Etihad Stadium, 3rd of January, where we beat them 2-1. Leroy Sane scored that goal. Sergio scored that first goal and Leroy scored the second. And I just think it would have been a game as good as that. That was one of the best games I've ever seen. I think the game would have been as good as that. But there you have it, guys. Let us know in the comment section below. Do you agree? First of all, do you agree with our 11s, our starting 11s? You got any arguments about that? I can't believe you can have. Really, you can't have any arguments. You know we're talking sense. But you can still debate whether you think it would have been a draw like Bernard wants it to be, or whether you think actually the treble winners were so good that they deserve or that they would win the game. Just let us know in the comment section below, and we'll try and answer your questions. But hey, Bernard, whichever way, I said this the other day to you when we were chatting about Pep's best 11. We did pick the best 11 team under Pep. And we said, we looked at the bench. We looked at the players on the bench. And then you look at, and then you realize there's 11 better players out there already, and the bench had some really, really top quality players. Like Mahrez was on the bench. And we would argue, but either David Silva or Gundogan was on the bench. People like that. You could say, was Leroy Sane or Foden going to be on the bench? You know, I had Company on the bench. You had Johnny Stones on the bench. Laporte was on the. I mean, really incredible. Fernandinho, we both picked Fernandinho. So Rodri was on the bench. Jack Grealish was on the bench. That would have been the most expensive bench in history. But it just goes to show again the quality of players we've had, the quantity and the quality of players we've had in such a short space of time.
Absolutely, and how long may it continue? We've got Mr. A couple of years' time, we'll be waxing lyrical about old Rico Lewis. Hopefully, won't we? As come into this.
Well, we're waxing lyrical about him already. He played for England the other day, and he was apparently man of the match.
Did you watch it?
I didn't. No, do me a favour, mate. I'm going to watch England play.
He was. He was tremendous. Apart from that stupid penalty, he was tremendous.
I heard it really wasn't his fault.
No, I mean, it's VAR and the referee. I mean, the referee was awful. I mean, we've seen some bad referees, but he was terrible.
I got a question for you, mate. How old is Rico Lewis?
He's 19 now.
Oh, you beggar! You got me. It was his birthday yesterday, weren't it?
Yeah.
Oh, Bernard. Hey, I tell you what, you got to get up really early in the morning if you want to pull the wool over Bernard's eyes. Well done, mate. I'm in awe. I'm in awe that you actually remembered it was his birthday yesterday, you beggar. Anyway, you probably sent him a birthday card or a digital birthday card on Twitter. But hey, guys, a fantastic contribution from you there, Bernard. I loved it. Loved listening to your team and your reasoning why. I'm not sure about 7 goals. I think that's a bit too much. But your reasoning why the old team would beat the new team. Thanks very much, mate. And you look after yourself, guys. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe. I implore you to subscribe. Help us to get to 12,000 subs before the end of the season, and go and have a look at the Citizen channel. Bernard talks a lot of good stuff over there, a lot of history. He's a history buff, talking about old stuff and Manchester City.
Like me, old like me.
Yeah, he's got a lot. Bernard, like Manchester City, has got a long and storied history.
Yeah, I mean, if Dr. Gary James is Manchester City, I'm Accrington Stanley. But there you go.
You're a poor man's Gary James. Is that what you're saying? Yeah. That's a compliment, I'm sure.
I'm just waiting for my doctorate from some college eventually.
You can pay for one of them. Just send back,
like a blue tick.
Dr. Bernard Deneen. Where'd you get your doctorate, mate? The University of Patagonia.
University of Life.
Thanks a lot, mate. You take care, and we'll see you around soon. See you around, Blues.